Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sachin. In this video, we are going to discuss more about the services. So, in the first part, we discussed the overview of services, the types of it. In this part, we are going to see the demo of load balancer, and also we will try to know more about the Ingress service. So, without wasting any time, let's jump to the VS Code. So here we have created two YAML. One is pod YAML and another one is the load balancer YAML. So this pod YAML is very simple. It just uses the Nginx image, and we are giving it a label of label app my app. Okay, and this is the load balancer YAML. So I'll just give you the details of it. This is kind. This is name of the load balancer. This is a label of the load balancer, and here these are the ports that we are using. HTTP port. This is a target port, and this is the port number that we are using. Now here, this is the selector. Selector will be the same as the labels of the pod YAML. So label of the pod YAML was app my app, and the selector of the load balancer YAML is app my app. So in this way, this load balancer uh, will reach to this pod YAML. Okay, and also here we mentioned that the type of the service that we are using. In the above, we use the kind as a service. In the type, we are using it as a load balancer. Okay, so I'll just create one namespace called demo. And by the way, we are using the same AKS cluster. This AKS demo cluster we are using. Okay, and I'm already connected to that cluster. So I just created that, and I'll first create the pod apply dash f pod.yaml and the namespace name. So the pod is created. I'll just see get pod dash n namespace. So yeah, our pod is running this demo pod. Now I'll create the load balancer service. kubectl apply dash f load balancer YAML, and I'll give the namespace name. Okay. So now if you will see the services, sorry, kubectl get service dash n demo. Now you see this is the demo load balancer name that we have given. The type is load balancer. This is the cluster IP of the load balancer, and this is the external IP through which our pod will be reachable. Okay. So now what we can do, we can try to access this link, and you will see welcome to Nginx. Right. So now this pod is in connection with this load balancer. Also, I'll show you one more thing. If you go to the cluster, not to the cluster, if you'll see the public IP, there will be one public IP added. Yeah. So either of them, there is one, because that public IP is we are using to get the pods. So 22071094810948. Yeah, if you see. So this IP address also gets created. Through that only we are accessing the pod. Okay. So that is the part of type of load balancer of the service. Now let's learn more about the Ingress. For that, we'll go to the presentation. Now this is let's discuss the features of the Ingress. So Ingress allow external clients to access service running inside the cluster using a single external IP address or domain name. Okay. It enables you to define routing rules based on host name and paths. You can configure different services to handle request based on the requested host name or URL path. Now, what is URL based routing? So basically, when suppose you have a site called sports.com, and using that site only, you just want to set a rule that if I'll go to slash football, it will show a football web page, and if I'll go to slash cricket, it will show cricket page. So that you can do using Ingress. Okay, so that was also one of the question that was asked to me in the time of interview when I was giving the interview for Kubernetes. So yeah, the third one would be Ingress supports terminating SSL and TLS encryption at the cluster level. Okay, it can handle SSL certificates also and negotiate secure connection with the client. So what is SSL termination? So the traffic that is coming from the outside, that traffic is by default encrypted. So Ingress will decrypt that traffic because Ingress won't rely on the encryption part of the web page. So Ingress first, it will decrypt that traffic, and then the other resource like app gateway, that will encrypt the traffic again, provides its own encryption, and then move the traffic ahead. So in that way, your connection would be very secure. So that is supported by Ingress, and that is uh, yeah, and that can be done using Ingress. Also, Ingress enables you to rewrite URL paths or redirect requests to different locations. Okay, which is basically URL based routing. So this is the flow of Ingress. So let's so this there is a user is trying to access the one of the pod which is here in the cluster. So it will use one public IP of the Ingress controller. That through that it will go to the AKS load balancer. So inside that is the external load balancer of the AKS. From there, it will go to the Ingress controller. Okay. Now Ingress controller, inside Ingress controller we have service and pod. So why we are having service over there? Because inside Ingress controller we will be having multiple Ingress pods. So to serve the traffic, we will be using a service over there as well. Okay. So that is the inbuilt feature of Ingress. So now it will go to the service of the Ingress, and from service it will go to one of the pods. Through the pod it will go to the Ingress service, where like where all the routing rules and other things are mentioned. So through Ingress service it will go to your destined pod. Okay, so that is a basic the overview of the flow of Ingress. Okay, let's move ahead. Now what is AGIC is nothing but application gateway Ingress controller. So for the Ingress controller we have different Ingress controllers in market. um, Amongst them, one is application gateway Ingress controller. So why what is application gateway Ingress controller? So it is also a type of Ingress controller, but it provides you the Azure application gateway. Okay, and using that application gateway um, you can enhance the usage of Ingress. Okay, so like application gateway will support URL routing, cookie based affinity, SSL termination, end to end SSL. So these things these features you will get from the application gateway. And obviously, as you are using Azure Kubernetes services, so it would be better to use application gateway Ingress controller, because application gateway is one of the feature of Azure, right? So so it is fully managed service in Azure. Okay, it leverages the features and capabilities of Azure application gateway, such as termination, SSL termination, URL based routing, WAF, and yeah, and the so yeah so if once you will use the application gateway Ingress controller, you will um, you will get the all the feature of the application gateway. You'll have to deploy the application gateway as well. Okay, with all the rules and all the listener settings, everything that you set in the application gateway, so you will set that. And once you deploy application gateway Ingress controller, you will get two pods, not two pods, but there will be pods. There will be AGIC pods. Okay, so what that AGIC pod does, it is just a it just um, it is just used to make the communication happen between application gateway and Azure Kubernetes service. Okay, so the AGIC pod communicates with the Azure application gateway to receive traffic routing instructions and forwards the traffic to the appropriate backend services running within the AKS cluster. And also one of the good feature of the app, application gateway ingress controller is that it directly connects with the pod, so the network latency is highly reduced if you use application gateway ingress controller. Okay, so that is that. And then load balancer and Ingress. So now I think you would have known why Ingress is highly used and recommended in production environment, and when you have a big and complex environment, you should use Ingress. So load balancer is just a lower level network load balancing service in Azure that distributes the traffic based on transport layer transformation information, while Ingress is a Kubernetes resource that provides higher level HTTPS load balancing and advanced routing capabilities. Ingress offers more flexibility and control for managing HTTP traffic within an AKS cluster. So yeah, so that's that. Both are a type of service in AKS. Both are used to expose the pods into outside world, but yeah, the functionalities are different. Okay, hope you um, liked the video. Um, and if you want to know more about AKS, then please like and subscribe my channel.